Hey friends, it's Renee. I am doing a 10 card client spirit guide reading. You know how these video spirit guide readings go. Usually I end up pulling anywhere between 12 and 14 cards, just depending on the feelings I'm getting and what's happening with the guide. So I just finished shuffling the Everyday Witches Tarot deck. I'm going to go ahead and just a little bit of background on the clients. I think it's going to be a fun one. I really do. I'm really hoping we'll get tapped in here. We'll have a good connection. I'm really excited about this. So she says sometimes she gets messages and she shares them with people. They're pretty spot on. She doesn't know where they're coming from, really. It's definitely becoming stronger over time, and she's getting a hand on her left shoulder. Is it her guide? Now she wants to have a bond with her angel, so I'm pulling an angel card. Now this doesn't necessarily mean the angel that appears on this card is her exact spirit guide. I don't know why I keep saying her, like you're not here listening to me. The card that I pull is not necessarily your exact angel spirit guide, but they are coming with a message for you for all of this, and that's definitely why it was pulled to this deck right now. So either like this bright blue angel just fell out, or she's not blue, but the sky router's blue. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are now being resolved. So I don't really feel the argument and conflict when it comes to you as being someone outside of you. I feel like it's, that just this conflict within yourself, like, am I really feeling this? Or, what's going on here? Like, what is this? What's happening here? So, that's kind of cool. I think that your angel definitely wants to have like a relationship harmony with you and wants to work with you. So I think they have been trying to connect with you more than likely, and I had to move again, so I'm just kind of like, I'm in my room right now. We still have family here for Thanksgiving, and that's awesome. And my husband is on on vacation, so that's awesome. But it does mean that I lost my office and then I lost the basement. So I do rotate a little bit between these videos. Anyways, so I really feel like there is just your angel does want to have a connection with you. So we're going to kind of see where that's going today. Okay, so definitely a card that's representing your spirit guide's personality, and we have Temperance, which I want to say I had another guide recently that this card represented their personality, but I think that's a really cool card to get for a representation of your spirit guide, because it Temperance is like all about balance. It's about sweets and sugar, but it's also about fruits and vegetables, so it's like emotions and mental strength, as well as black and white, love and hate, tears and joy. So there's like all these things. I feel like she's definitely connected to, and she's definitely trying to pull like a balance to everything. So she's even got one eye open and one eye closed. So this is just, she's working to get that spiritual balance in your life. She knows that you've kind of felt the awakening, you're excited, you want to move on with it, and she's here to basically make sure it doesn't hit you too hard too fast, and that you get overwhelmed spiritually, physically, emotionally, in many different ways that we could be overwhelmed. So that's her that's here today. Let me see. I just wanted to try to get this in there. I'm not going to be able to. I'll try to get a picture of everybody at the end for you. So then the next card is, how are they currently helping you? And we have the Page of Cups, and that's kind of cool. I'm looking at him pointing to his shoulder here. That is his right shoulder, so it's not the shoulder you're talking about. I think maybe a little indication of that. I don't know. We'll wait and see if a left shoulder pops up somewhere here in the reading first, before I read too much into that. So this Page of Cups is like the beginning of an emotional journey, that's connected to your spirituality. Like there's creativity involved. There's all these different things that are coming together, and so I feel like she's been opening all these doors for you. She's been presenting you with all these tools, all these crafts, all this excitement, and kind of maybe she's getting a little too out of balance here. Like see how she's got like her table set up and she's got all this stuff that's like all over the place, or not all over the place, but it's like from, like all different kinds of things, like computer, laptop, a book, water, martini, this, like these things, but she has them organized and balanced. And I think maybe she thinks that you should be able to do that too, because she's like giving you all these things, but this is kind of like a mess here. So I feel like she's like definitely providing you with all these tools, but even though she herself is like an organized, calm person, and she thinks it's going to come out to you in calm ways, I think it's kind of, it looks like it's kind of overwhelming at times. Like things are just happening all over the place. Some of it has no rhyme or reason, and some of it seems well thought out and planned, while others just kind of is an explosion. But that's her like providing these gifts to you, and I think you just gotta figure out a way to like stabilize everything and kind of get it all sorted out. What's coming your way, like the clairvoyance that you're feeling, the feelings that you're like, the physical feelings that you're having, and everything else. And then immediately after we have the Knight of Wands, which to me, like the knight comes right after the page. So I feel like that's telling me she really wants you to take all those tools and kind of go one step further, organize them, figure out what's serving you and what's not serving you. That's really hard to figure out, like if you're going through a spiritual awakening and everything is super overwhelming. But there's like a compartmentalization or organizing process that has to be done. I'm seeing like a journal, or not a journal, a planner. I'm seeing taking notes in the planner, like writing things down when they happen. When you think you're having like, when you feel her or you're having a moment, just are you noticing synchronicities? Things are happening around you that you've manifested. Just make sure you're writing in the planner. I feel like write it down, the time, the day. Try to do the minute, the hour, and maybe you'll start noticing patterns. I feel like there's like a pattern here involved to the balance, to the organization of it all. You're going to find a pattern, and then through that pattern, you'll kind of be able to feel like, oh, okay, usually I have this, I have a dream that's kind of like, I have a scary dream, and then the next day I have like something to tell my neighbor, like something that's going to happen to them, and it wasn't related to this dream, so I wasn't catching that before, but I always have a scary dream the night before I think of something to tell someone, like I have a premonition to tell someone. So like I feel like if you start doing things like that, I feel like that's a lot of what your guide is trying to get across. Like she's giving you the tools you need to organize them into your life so that they'll flow more easily for you. Okay, now how can you recognize when your guide is talking to you? So we have this witch, she's here. I feel like, well, if we look at her wand there, we're seeing it points, it's again to her right shoulder. Oh no, in the camera it was looking right to me, but when I'm holding it in my hand and looking at it, it's her left arm. So I really feel like this is a direct message more about the visualization here than it is the card's traditional meaning. I really feel here, your guide is there. That left hand, or that touch on your left shoulder, that hand, that is you feeling your guide. I mean, your guide is like directly here pointing at their shoulder. That is me. I am trying to get your attention. I have something to tell you. Or I just want you to know that I am here for you. I feel like maybe sometimes she's doing this and you're not noticing, and it's not because you're pushing her away, but it's just because she does it probably at an inopportune time. Like maybe you're in traffic, or you're busy you're in a busy supermarket, and the last thing on your mind is like your shoulders because your purse is hanging off of one, and you're trying to remember which aisle the fried onion rings are in. So, or not fried onion rings, but French fried onions are in. So, like, there's these things, I feel like that's really her pushing through as hard as she can and grasping your shoulder, like, listen to me. So, I feel like that's something you definitely, I feel like you're probably already listening for that, just because you definitely did mention that to me. It's a left shoulder thing with her hand, but I feel like you just need to more, definitely the more you notice it and start journaling it or putting it in that planner, the more probably tame or understandable it'll become, and maybe a little less stressful. What should you work on during this life? So, we have the Three of Wands, and it's reversed, but that kind of just means like a blocked energy here. So I feel like this is really harnessing your power right here, this Three of Wands. It's like this cycle, this connection. I really feel like this is definitely telling you that you just need to, because I'm seeing it here in the wand, because not all the wands have that magic coming out of the wands in the different cards. So I'm seeing here in the card we pulled earlier, how to help yourself as your guide is helping you, and we had that knight with the magic coming out of his wand. Well, now we've got the Three of Wands, the magic coming out of their wand, and I really feel like that is definitely a connection back to that. It's an organizing, compartmentalizing, figuring out what your spiritual gifts are and running with them. We're going to definitely connect a little bit on the spiritual gifts here in a minute, but that is really just I think your big lesson was supposed to be in this lifetime. Now, you've said, as you've gotten older, it's gotten stronger. I feel like that's definitely something from your guide. I feel like this was something that you were meant to do this lifetime, and as your life was as you were getting older and you weren't connecting as fast spiritually as you were meant to this lifetime, I think you have a really helpful guide, and they were just pushing it into you. But I think, they're trying to force, but it's almost like they were trying to force it into you, trying to force this magic and this awakening inside of you, just because they want to make sure you complete it in the next 50 years or so. They want you to definitely, get this connection and get as far as you're supposed to spiritually, because I really feel like what you've told me is definitely like other people's, not only your guide is coming to you, but other people's guides are coming to you and talking to you, because if you're getting messages for other people, a lot of times I feel like that's their guide. Like they know that you're open, your guide has opened your mind a little bit, and they want to they definitely want to get in on that, have you help them contact their charges. So that's just something that I think it's really important to work on. There's like books you can get on clairvoyancy and spirit guides and learning to what else? Okay. I feel like this is like right here too. This is like a direct connection. These are right next to each other, and that cape totally connects there. So I feel like that's definitely something that you need to work on. It's just practice. If it's something that's kind of coming at you and you really don't know what to do, there are lots of lots of books at the bookstore, lots of books on or videos on YouTube, but I definitely recommend for things like this, especially when you're beginning your journey, is to get like a book, and I say maybe like a book to harness your your psychic connection. If this is something you really don't want to do, there are ways to like close your third eye and to close down a connection to a spirit guide. But I'm going to continue to read these messages from your guides as though this is something that you just want to control and cultivate instead of having it control you. So we are up to what are your gifts? And again, I see like that wand with the magic coming out here. And we were talking about that, just your gift, your strength, and I see that internal strength. But I really feel like this is again referring to that clairvoyancy that you've talked about. It's just all about connect. And when I see that circle, I'm thinking of the connection of life, like from maiden. I mean, I don't know if you follow this or not, but maiden, mother, crone, death, afterlife, birth again. So we're born, we die, we go to the afterlife, we come back again. So I think that's really what the spiral is all about. And that spiral, that's giving you like this good connection to your, essentially your circle of life. I really feel like that is your gift, the getting messages, connecting, the connection that you feel. And I'm feeling that for sure, because we had this spiraling in the 2 wands cards, but then to see it here on a major arcana card, I think that's really telling us something. I'm going to tap into this just a little bit more into your gift. I used the Goddess Guidance cards. They are also created by the same people that created by the same woman who created my angel cards, Doreen Virtue. So I'm going to pull one from here and see if I can get a little bit of insight into your gifts, or what you need to work on to kind of harness those gifts. I feel like we're getting a really defined strong connection and answer with your guide, but I do sometimes like to kind of look over here and just see if there's any additional guidance they can give us on these particular cards. I think just one more time. I feel good. Okay, so so I do see that young figure. She's got the crescent moon, where like on her forehead for her third eye. I definitely feel like that is speaking to yours. Now we've got, this is the message from Cordelia. Go outside. You've been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. Being cooped out is not a natural way for inhabitants of this exciting planet to live. Believe me, there's plenty to see and experience when you exit your 4 walls and roof. A daily venture outside will not only revive your spirit and soul, but it'll give you hope and faith in this planet's very existence and future. You'll see all the goodness that's in store within nature, the flowers ready to unfurl, the leaves that are sprouting, the birds that hop about, and even the wind that affectionately caresses you. Don't let another day go by without stepping outdoors into this most entertaining and exciting of environments. So kind of what I'm getting from this card here, so that's the message, and then it has a few meanings for this card. The one that's jumping out at me is that recognize need for balance in your life, for more rest and play. So the balance here, we're going to go back to, your spirit guide here. So I'm going to call your spirit guide Cordy, because I like the name Cordy for short for Cordelia. And that's what I'm really feeling right here when I'm looking at her, is that her, like, I feel like this combination between her and Ragul for your guides that are kind of here today. And with this, I'm feeling this go outside. This is that when you're feeling overwhelmed and when you're feeling like the emotions or the connection from your guide are too strong and you don't really understand what to do with it or what to move forward with. I really feel like going outside is going to either open like that meditation and opening inside of you to open your third eye, or if what you need at that time is to kind of silence your third eye and to silence and calm yourself, that's what it'll do for you. So I definitely see that as connecting with these other things so far. And it's interesting to me that she's talking about balance, and the only card you've had so far, balance and going outside, the only card that you've had so far that's not outside is the Temperance card, which is about balance. So just a reminder to go outside more often and get fresh air and kind of recharge your batteries in a way. The next card is what is your connection with with your spirit guide on the spiritual plane? So you kind of see this this right here, and this, we've got the Ten of Swords, and we've got this witch that's been like sworded, pierced to the ground basically, and there's someone else running off, and there's this cat that's like, hey, get away from me, get away from her. So, and she's getting up to get other things. So when I'm looking at this, I'm not like, I'm feeling like you're this woman here on the ground, and your cat, this cat here is your guide. And what this is showing me is like, when you get to the spiritual realm, the other guides know that you're one who has an easy connection with them, that is willing to share their messages. So you kind of have like a lot of people running at you. It could also be speaking to, Cordy could also be speaking to this world, this life, and how other people's guides come to you with messages to tell them, feelings to tell them. And when you're in the spiritual realm, you tell Cordy, hey, this is really overwhelming me, and she like chases them all off and allows you to rest. But I really feel like that's what's going on here, is she's definitely protecting you from getting too much of an overload. I feel like sometimes you are getting that overload here on this plane, and I feel like a lot of that is probably because this gift has been emerging, and it is emerging a little too fast lately, and you need to kind of figure out how to get control of it. And I really feel like I'm being pointed towards reading books, buying books to get that control and get that to slow down. So what do you need to be aware of right now? And we have this Two of Swords, and again, we have a little bit of balance, and a little bit of take the blindfold off. I feel like this is going back to reading books and getting more information on your spiritual journey and what's happening to you and how this connection is happening to you. I feel like that blindfold is signifying not having found the right material to read to get a stronger connection on this, on what you're supposed to do here, how this would most comfortably suit your life. And I feel like getting that balance, reading that book, removing the blindfold, that's how you're going to hit that target. Sometimes you hit it just by chance, but if you didn't have that blindfold on, you could probably hit it all the time. So I really feel like it's just preaching to education right here. And then we have any advice for your spiritual path. Well, it's the number 5, the Hierophant. So with this one, I'm definitely seeing find spiritual leaders that are within your path. So you don't have to find someone in person. You could easily read a blog, watch a vlog, buy the book. I'm like, buy a book. By the way, I do not sell books about any spiritual stuff, so I'm not like pushing you to buy a book. I just am getting this whole book vibe. And the only card I've seen a book in so far is the very first card, Temperance. But I am definitely getting that feeling over and over again for you, to buy a book and get information from someone who's trusted. I'm also seeing, just this meditation here, yoga and meditation. I don't know if that's something you currently practice, but that is something that would definitely help you get a hold on some of this that's going on, even if you didn't fully research and do a lot of reading, which I really still am getting this like strong urge to tell you over and over again to buy a book. And seeing this card here, I'm still getting that buy a book, but I'm getting something like, maybe you don't have to buy a practical application book, but like a biography of someone who's gone through something similar, gone through something like this as you have. I'm really, that might help you even more than buying a book that says do A, then do B, then practice C, then D and E. I think reading about real life people that have gone through real life things that you are going through would really help open up some of this for you and close down the stuff you don't want. Yeah. And then any final words, and we have the Ten of Cups. It's like a cycle completion. I see this and I just see joy and happiness and family and friendship and abundance. So I really feel like if you follow kind of what Cordelia has told you to do, and just do some research, I really feel like you're going to get this amazing grasp on your gift. I feel like you can go like really far with it and really bring abundance and excitement into your life and into your family's life. I feel like this is going to serve you a long way, and I feel like this is just, this 10th card here, number 10, just the completion of a cycle of opening up and learning and having to figure all this out. All that was just like your guide is just really here. Like, it's not a lot that I had to sit and look at the card and really figure out what they were trying to tell me. It really there was like a really verbal communication and connection from Cordelia. So I keep saying Cordelia, Cordy, because I'm really getting like that strong vibe there. That is just really a lot about who she is. Like, go outside, get some air, then you can come back inside and deal with this other stuff. But it's just like all about this balance here. And I just really feel like all this is telling us is just you really need to just further your education so that this doesn't control you, but you work with it. And then, of course, this was my favorite part, I think, with her pointing at her left shoulder for how to know if your guide is talking to you. I think that is really, really awesome. But I hope you enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed doing this for you. Your guide is very open and light and relaxed. They're really cool. So they can just kind of, if you can, take some of this into action as soon as possible. And I think you're going to see some good progress and some good good calming down time if some of this is stressing you out. I think it'll be good to really focus on how to work all this. That way you can kind of close it down when you need to close that third eye. But I hope you have a really, really blessed day.